So, the prevailing sentiment from my review video last night is that I'm biased and I'm crazy because I thought the Boston goal should have counted and the Vegas goal should have counted. Here's the thing. Remember at the All-Star break, Gary Bettman said referees are overthinking this? That translates to just go with the call on the ice unless it's egregious. Now, I am well aware that there are fans who believe that in both the Winnipeg-Vegas game and Boston-St. Louis game that it was an egregious call not to call the goals back. But remember, this time last week, we were complaining about goals being called back and goals not being called back, and there being some discrepancy. On the play in the Winnipeg game, did James Neal smash Hellebuck in the face with his stick? Yep. Was the puck loose behind him? Yep. Did they miss a power play? Absolutely. They should have had a power play. It should have been a penalty. But that's not what the referee's looking at. The referee's looking at the placement of the puck and asking himself, can the goalie make the save? In the Boston game, the puck's in the crease. Players go into the crease. They collide with the goaltender. The puck goes in the net. Now, did the puck come out of the crease before it was shot back in? Yes. But those players hadn't had the time to vacate the crease before that puck went in. And again, I know, that's not the way they've been calling it all year. Both goals probably get called back. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago. This is how the NHL wants it called. Now, the thing that I found funniest was that, and I want to say it was on the Hockey News, that I saw it just as a headline and I didn't even bother reading it. Because I'm like, no, that's stupid. Their solution was stop using instant replay. That's an idea. The reason that's a stupid idea is because we can still see the instant replay and players can still see it on the board, and that's a horrible idea. The reason we have instant replay is because of issues we were having. Now, the other part of the problem, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. So, we watch these replays frame by frame by frame. I still think to really get a feel for what happened, you got to look at it full time. You have to look at it full speed because that's how the game's played. And, you know, the funny part is, if James Neal had broken his stick prior to hitting Hellebuck in the face, and if said stick had touched the puck while broken, that goal doesn't count. Because he played the puck with a broken stick. And he would have got a penalty for it. I know. Is it frustrating to me? Yeah. When I saw that replay of the Boston goal, I went, okay, so they're calling it the way they used to call it. We're back to you can crash the crease if you want to. As long as the puck's in there, go on ahead and go in after it. And that's the way the game was played before. That's what happened before. See, the NHL's biggest issue, and beyond goalie interference and beyond the whole offside goals thing, has been that it's constantly trying to reinvent itself. And it's sometimes trying to reinvent itself in ways that we don't want. We don't want 10 minutes spent on a replay when it sucks the life out of the game and sometimes causes momentum to swing. And a lot of the times, it doesn't change the result. Still a goal, still not a goal. And again, I get why people are upset. Is it being called properly? Maybe. Maybe in that now they're calling it the way that Bettman told them to call it. And if Bettman's saying it, that means that's the way that management wants it called. And I don't know the end game to this any better than you guys do. I don't know if a month from now, both of those goals would have got called back. Playoffs. But remember, Brett Hull's skate was in the crease in 1999. They didn't call the goal back. It was a Stanley Cup winning goal. So when I hear people say, who cares? It's just regular season. Or it's just one game. It doesn't matter. It matters when that one game is the one that decides the Stanley Cup. And Sabres fans are still rightly upset about it. So again, when that happened in 1999 and I celebrated, well, here's the thing. Should that goal have counted? No. Did I think it was a stupid rule? Absolutely. So should the goals from last night have counted? Well, the way they were calling goalie interference up until the All-Star break, no. The way they're calling it now, sure. By the spirit of the rule, I don't know. Because here's the thing. Goalie interference is the idea that you're interfering with their ability to make the save. Did that interfere with Hellebuck's ability to make the save? Yes. Was he going to save a puck that he thought he already had? So now you're into the interpretive part. And that is what Gary Bettman meant when he said referees are overthinking it. Referee would have looked at that last week and said, you know what? He might have been able to make the save if he didn't get that smack in the face with the stick. I'm going to call the goal off. Now it's, no, I'm going to leave it. And the funny thing is, I keep hearing people say, well, you know, Toronto says. Toronto doesn't, as far as I know, have any voice in this. The referees are making the call on their own. They don't call Toronto. They just call down to get the replay. They look at the replay and they go, all right, this is the call. It is the referees that are making this call, not Toronto. Head office has nothing to do with it. Offside, I believe, goes to Toronto. And there's other calls that go to Toronto. This isn't one of them. As far as I know. Because every time I hear it, I hear referees this, referees that. If it was Toronto making that final call, we wouldn't be hearing about how referees are calling it. So there you go. My explanation. And again, goalie interference is this weird, nebulous thing. And it shouldn't be. So I anticipate there's going to be more disputed goals that count from now on. There's going to be more instances where whatever the call on the ice was stands than there was before the All-Star break. And we can all disagree on whether that's right or wrong. But that's the way they look like they're calling it now. And if they're going to do it that way, all right. And it wouldn't have mattered if it had been a St. Louis goal and it had been Tuukka Rask that was pulled out of the way. Oh, I'm like, all right, that's a goal. They've changed the way they're calling it mid-season. Awesome. Which is another major problem the NHL has. That they will change the way they call a penalty, a goal, anything middle of the season, midstream. It really looks Bush League when you do that. And for fans in Vegas and for fans coming in Seattle, it is a way that makes it more confusing for fans who are new to the game. It really does. So what I'll do, I didn't get that NHL yearbook because by the time it would have been shipped to me, it was December, and I'm like, oh, who cares? But I know I can find the rules online anyways. And, you know, I'll see if I can come up with something looking through them. But, again, it's all open to interpretation, and it shouldn't be. It should be a black and white thing. There should be certain points where we say, you know what, this is silly. But, again, and I'm repeating this for Winnipeg fans, if they call a penalty on James Neal based on the replay, then all penalties are open to instant replay. Do we want to go there? And that's a serious question for you guys. When they miss a penalty call, should they be able to look at a replay and go, oh yeah, no, we missed that, and then throw a guy in the box? Think of how many egregious errors we've seen where some guy gets sticked in the face, cross-checked into the boards, something happens, and the referee just stands there and watches it. Or is looking the other way. Both referees are looking the other way. It's frustrating. So should they just instant replay everything in the game? And I know majority of people are going to say, holy crap, that would slow the game down. It becomes football. Exactly. It's a slippery slope. But they started it by doing instant replay on offsides, goalie interference, and kicking motions, and whatever else. So, again, I apologize for anybody that got upset with my statement on those goals last night. But again, they seem to have changed the way they're calling them. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And again, thank you so much for being out there. Makes it worth being in here. And I'll talk to you again soon.